Hey guys, I want to come on here and show you guys this video because we actually need way more black men who are like this. Let me play the video for you guys, and then I'll come back with the commentary, because this really exemplifies some of the things that needs to be occurring within the black men in our community, rather than seeing them stand around and condone racial degradation by white supremacists.
I got a video going. Don't worry about it, guys. Okay, now all right, guys. Y'all have a good. This is your flag. My entrance to my museum. This is your flag. Now have a good. Don't block my entrance. Don't block my entrance right here. That's all I have to do. Do you understand? Man, please walk away from me. Walk away, please. Thank you. Get your lieutenant down here. Sir, you need to get your lieutenant over here. All right. I see y'all having an ass with me. I am a lieutenant. You shouldn't piss me off. That is your state flag. Sir, I don't care what you say. Get over there. I'm trying to keep my traffic. Come on. Travis blocked off for the parade. There's no traffic coming home here. That's what I'm saying. And y'all trying to piss me off. I think you're ready, sir. Oh, yeah, right. Come on, guys. Y'all stop being ass. You had to went to screaming at you when I walked over there. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. I'm going to get on my golf cart, and I'm going to run right over here and block his entrance. I'll have nobody block my street. My people come in here. Thank you. I'm through with you. I'm blocking your entrance. I'm through with you, sir. I got a big.
Now, the thing of it is that what black people need to really understand about these struggle gene, recessive, inbred, white supremacist cave dwellers is that whenever they come around with Confederate flags, they're not doing that for other white people. They're doing that for black people. And unfortunately, most black people respond passively. What this black man did is really appropriate, which is tell these cave dwellers with two teeth to get from in front of his interest. And then he said, y'all are going to piss me off. Get up out of here, okay? Now, what these cave dwellers are used to doing is trying to convince black people of stuff, because you saw that degenerate struggle gene talking about, oh, this is the flag of Mississippi. This is your flag. Black man wasn't having it. Get up out of here. Take your two teeth, your struggle genetics, and your dusty Confederate flag that really doesn't even have anything to do with them per se, and really is a symbol of losers, because the Confederation has actually lost a war. So they're running around trying to proudly proclaim the fact that they celebrate losers, essentially. And that's really what they are. Genetically and otherwise, is a bunch of losers. But what needs to be understood is that they do this to get black people's attention. They do this to provoke an emotional response out of black people. And if black people would just pay them no mind, like this dude did, and make them fade back to the backwoods hills that they came from, they would stop doing it, because he made them get up out of here. He told them to take it somewhere else. They're used to coons. And I saw, there was another video that I did a while back where there was a black man that burned the Confederate flag that a white supremacist was trying to take into the neighborhood. So these are just more things that really we need black warrior-minded men to do these things. Because he remained calm, even though he's completely outnumbered by these disgusting white supremacist cave dwellers. Even still, this black man still held his ground, and he's like, y'all just need to get up out of here. And this is what I support. This is what I like. This is what we really need more of. They shouldn't think that they can just go anywhere black people are and spread their stupidity. And the interesting thing of it is that if black people would just show even an ounce of self-respect, if black people would show even a little bit that they don't care nothing about these cave dwellers, it would change their behavior. All of this sick passivity and love of all things whiteness and vying for white approval, this is what has us in the position that we're in now. I've been in situations, because I told you guys about the Uber driver that I had was clearly a white supremacist male. I'm isolated in a car by myself with this white supremacist male while he's talking about doing his talking points, and I didn't care one thing about it. I still said my piece, and he actually became very passive. And then thanked me and said he wished that he could have more writers like me, although I'm sitting here telling him how degenerate they are. How anything that they complain that black people do, any degeneracy that black people do, is from being in close proximity to them and their longstanding degeneracy. Because I'm not going to bite my tongue just because there's some struggle gene white supremacists. But what I will tell you is that I've encountered many black people who will cater to their feelings, who will censor their words just because they're around them. Quick story. Me and my sister went up to my nephew's school. And they were organizing a group where it was kind of like a little black student union. Mind you, he's in elementary, but whether it was the parents of black children getting together to talk about the racism that's rife at their school. Because a lot of people will sit here and say, like when as pertaining to white supremacist children, they will say, oh, these are just kids. When in reality, they may be kids, but they still have the mindset of the white supremacists. So we're sitting in this room, me and my sister are giving them the business, talking about white supremacists. We're candid, we're unfiltered. We're doing it in a very intellectual manner. We're looking throughout the room because a lot of the people in this group were white women who had biracial children. The black man is nowhere around. These are white women sitting in rooms with biracial children who are getting called niggers and having swastikas and Confederate flags and everything that these white children in elementary school are torturing them with. They have an issue with that. It's funny because even in so-called liberal states, you have concentrated racism, but they try to say that there's liberalism and it's non-racism. So anyway, we're sitting in this room just giving white supremacy the business, talking about how you can't transcend from racism because of white people. And anytime you get into the conversation about how to resolve racism, then white people become uncomfortable because ultimately it's going to lead back to them. Every other black person in there was very passive. In fact, they told us we were very brave simply for speaking out. This is just ridiculous. No black person should see telling the truth, not caring about what these cave dwellers think or feel, as bravery. You have a right to vocalize yourself, and you should. You should not walk around in society caring about making them feel comfortable. I don't care about making a cave dweller feel comfortable in a system of white supremacy where I'm uncomfortable, and neither should any black person. And until black people start making them feel uncomfortable with racism, racism is going to be around. None of them should get to walk around and a black person hold their tongue. You should never hold your tongue. You should be very vocal and very blunt and very aggressive when you're speaking about racism. And that doesn't mean you have to get up and do a caricature of the angry black person while you're doing it. You don't even have to do that. You can do it quietly, calmly, and intellectually. And that's what me and my sister were doing in this meeting. And I could tell that they were uncomfortable, but I don't care because the system of white supremacy and racism is uncomfortable. This is why I don't care where I am. If I'm in a car dealership and we get into a conversation about racism, I'm not filtering myself. If I'm I can be in a restaurant in the South and I literally feel like it's Jim Crow and I can care less. I'm still going to tell them about their struggle genetics. I'm still going to tell them about their savage, violent history. I'm still going to debunk their IQ myth because they're not. I'm not going to sit there and lie to them and coddle them when I'm uncomfortable in a system of white supremacy. Their degeneracy is making my experience as a black person uncomfortable. So what I'm not going to do is make them feel comfortable doing that. That's just not what I'm going to do. And if black people had any self-worth collectively, if they had any pride collectively, they wouldn't make them feel comfortable either. But the reality is that most black people, by and large, cater to these devils and make them feel comfortable. And you really should not do that. That's one of the major areas where we're dropping the ball. I'm glad this black security officer didn't do that. He wasn't about to make them feel comfortable. He wasn't about to let them roll around with their Confederate flags. Me and my sister don't let them do that either. We will go downtown where there's a bunch of cave-dwelling struggle genes, and we will tell them your white supremacy is terrorism. You need to go back. And actually, one of them approached us and said, and so is black supremacy. And you know what we said? If you don't like it, go back to Europe. Because the reality of it is that you need to switch it around, do to them, talk to them the way they do to you and talk to you. That we shouldn't be running around here showing them niceties when they're showing us savagery in this day. And I'm certainly not going to. If anybody wants to be passive and do that, they can. But you can best believe they're not going to be bringing this behavior around me. They're not going to feel like they can run amok and call black people niggers around me. They're not going to think that they can be these violent savages and tell people to go back to Africa around me. That's not going to happen. You won't be doing that around here. But let me know what you guys think. I really applaud this guy's behavior. I like the way he handled them, even being outnumbered by white supremacists, really. Because that right there shows you how easy it is for the essence of a black man to shut them down. This black man is outnumbered, and yet he asserted himself, told them to take that somewhere else, and all they could do was comply. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you for your support. I'll see you in the next one.